Hello, everyone, and welcome to our new course about self-centeredness, a new series of 10 classes about another very good pattern of the 10 fundamental patterns. How are you doing? How has been your day since the last time we have been together? Good. Just checking if everything is okay. Yeah. So today is our first class. There are some basic things that I do in all the classes, some terms, some words. I will not repeat them. This class, you have my on my YouTube channel. You have my previous classes, so you can go and watch them for free. And special the oldest ones, the first ones that I taught in the beginning. I explained some basic concepts and terminology from Ren Shui. So you are very welcome to go there if you don't know that terminology, to check it and verify it. So this time we're going to work on the pattern, one of the 10 fundamental patterns of the Ren Shui system that Yuan Se identified and gave us teachings about it. And this time is the pattern of self-centeredness. Like always, when we do these courses before we start the class, we build a Qi field together, a field of Qi, as the name says, and we try to unify our hearts so that we can support each other and help each other in this process of learning and grow and transforming our lives. If you don't know how to do it, it's very simple. You just need to close your eyes and follow my instructions. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, so let's start to build the Qi field and unify our hearts. Adjust yourself to a good position with your spine straight, your body centered and relaxed. Look straight forward and slowly bring your awareness back to the center of your head. Close your eyes and relax. Relax. If you feel any tension and discomfort, just send the information to relax, to let go. Relax your head and face. Relax your neck, your shoulders, arms and hands. Relax your chest and upper back. Relax the abdomen and lower back. Relax the hips, legs, and feet. Relax all your body from the top of the head to the toes, from inside out. Relax your mind. Relax your heart. You are so relaxed that everything is melting away. You experience clarity and freedom in this state. Everything is open and your awareness becomes alive. Awareness inside of the body. Feel the emptiness and spaciousness within. Go deep inside your body, deep inside the cells, atoms, and subatomic particles. You go so deep, so small, that there is no space for more. And contemplate the void and all the peace and quietness there. The void has no boundaries, no limitations, and no opposition. And through the void, expand your awareness out in all directions, free and happy. Expand out, becoming one with the universe. We dissolve ourselves in the universe, and we become so big that there is no space for more. And contemplate all the peace and quietness there. And bring the awareness back to the body, calm and peaceful. Connect with your heart and open your heart to all the universe with reverence and utmost gonging. And let the bright universe nourish your heart with compassion and love. Feel relaxed, free, and joyful. Chi is flowing harmoniously and smoothly. Go deep into your heart and feel the purity of your heart. And connect your heart with my own heart. And also with Yonsei, Melissa, and everyone in this chi field. Let's connect and unify our hearts. And always remember the strength of our hearts unified is exponential. So together, helping each other, let's connect and manifest the 5 Shin, or the 5 essential heart qualities. Let's start to connect and manifest the state of unconditional trust. And give trust to everyone. Receive trust from everyone. Dissolve yourself into trust. And be trust. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional openness. And give openness to everyone. Receive openness from everyone. Dissolve yourself into openness. And be openness. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional love. And give love to everyone. Receive love from everyone. Dissolve yourself into love. You are love. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional gratitude. And give gratitude to everyone. Receive gratitude from everyone. Dissolve yourself into gratitude and be gratitude. Now connect and manifest the state of unconditional gonging, or true respect and humility. And give gonging to everyone. Receive gonging from everyone. Dissolve yourself into gonging and be gonging. Feel the wonderful five shin in your heart, your pure heart. And in this state of purity, open up and connect with your true self. Invite it to manifest in your heart. Surrender to the true self and give it unconditional freedom to manifest all its awareness, true understanding, realization, wisdom, all its power, bright light, and clarity. Surrender to your true self and welcome it in your heart with a five shin. Your consciousness, heart, and true self are now unified, and in this state of unification, open once more to the universe and surrender unconditionally to the universe. Surrender your consciousness. Surrender your heart. Surrender your true self. So that in each thought and pattern, in each feeling or emotion, in each awareness, true understanding, realization, and wisdom, we become an instrument of the infinite love and wisdom of the universe, aligning ourselves and becoming one with the laws of the universe, and accomplishing the mission of Zidu to Ren. Uplift yourself and help the others. We are now ready to learn together and grow together. Slowly, we start to come back and gently open your eyes. Thank you, everyone. It feels really good to connect with your hearts again and creating all this beautiful chi field together. So, I'm just checking if everything is okay. Good. So, this training, like the others, the previous ones, will go through 10 weeks. I want to ask you to check the dates of the course that you receive in the announcement, because there will be a couple of weeks that the class will not be on Thursday. So mind that and be aware of that. And probably when we get close to those classes, I will warn you about that. As a previous, we'll start from a introductory perspective. This class will be introductory to the pattern, and then we'll go deeper and deeper to check all the manifestations, all the variations, how to transform the pattern, how to make that change to happen and manifest in your life. When we work to this pattern, we, like all the patterns that we work in Ren Shui, our goal is to use this work on the pattern to direct our life towards self-realization, to the realization of our true self. So the patterns are like layers around the true self that does not allow us to manifest our true self or to experience realization from the true self. And we need to peel those layers so that the true self can manifest truly without going back. And the patterns are those layers around. There are many patterns, and I have explained already before the mechanisms of the patterns, so you can go and check those classes. They are free on YouTube, but probably I will mention other things related with the patterns. Working on the patterns is something very difficult. It's a very hard work. And it's something that we don't, kind of work that we cannot take it light, in the sense that it's not a thing that we're gonna work on the weekend or when we have time to do it, and then hoping that they will be transformed. It's a process that brings awareness to every moment, where we can search and be able to perceive these small nuances that the patterns can manifest. And through that process of gaining more and more awareness, be able to truly understand them and be able to transform them and change it in real life, not just when we are in meditation or just as when life goes according to how we like. Because normally when things are well for us, we don't feel the need to work on the patterns and feel that everything is okay. We want to make this change to manifest in real life situations that will come through life. Life will decide, or the universe will give us a lot of opportunities to see ourselves and embrace those opportunities to transform our life and understand our life from a deep level. Also, another very important thing to look at when we work on the patterns in Ren Shui is that we don't do a mental process to work on the patterns. Although we gain an intellectual understanding about the patterns, the true transformation of the pattern is done by the help of our true self. The patterns are tools, mechanisms of the consciousness that help us to react to information the more effective and efficient possible. So the fastest and with the less energy expenditure to process information, to react to some kind of information or to do something with information. But the problem of the patterns is that the patterns were created with a lack of true understanding of life, with complete information about what was going on. And though because they have those flaws, they reflect ignorance, and the only antidote for ignorance is wisdom. In the structure that we have in our human being structure, in Ren Shui we talk about 3 parts: our consciousness, our heart, and our true self. The consciousness is where most of the people operate, with the patterns, with the thoughts, this natural way of processing information. The heart, a lot of people can experience it, can feel it, and experience the heart qualities like love, or gratitude, or trust, or compassion, or forgiveness, or patience. Not always patience, right? But there are all these heart qualities, and the heart can also have patterns. And the patterns of the heart can affect the patterns of the consciousness, and the patterns of the consciousness affect the patterns of the heart. However, the heart is also the easiest way to connect with our true self, mainly when the true self is not still present, very present in our life. So the heart, it's a gate to connect with the true self, we can say like that. And the true self in our structure is the one that can create realization and wisdom. So if the patterns of the consciousness were created with flaws and they reflect ignorance, the true self manifests wisdom, is the only part that can generate wisdom. So if the wisdom is the antidote for ignorance, it means that the one that can really transform our patterns into something that is really beneficial for our life and that help us to follow the laws of the universe is the true self. So through all this process, have this in your mind. You don't want to transform patterns as a mechanical process. You want to use wisdom and clarity and realization to transform your patterns. Another quality of the true self is that the true self can manifest what we call in the Ren Shui the Drecha. This is a characteristic that is unique to the true self. And the Drecha is the state of naked awareness, a state of pure presence, naked awareness, where the things are not rejected, but we are not also attached to the things. When the things come, when they go, and we remain in this point of clarity where we embrace everything in the same way, without attachments or rejections or negations or strong judgments. It's a point where we see the things as they are. And we need to bring this to the work of the patterns. We need to have this clarity of seeing the things as we are and as they are. And this is very important for the work on the pattern, any pattern, but on the pattern of self-centeredness is very important. So I invite you from this moment, from the very beginning, to be brave, to look at yourself with pure honesty and clarity of how you are. It's not saying that it's good or bad. It is what it is there, and some things they need to improve, others some more, some less, but be able to accept everything that comes with naturality of not rejecting anything and also not being attached to anything. Because if we don't bring this awareness to the true self, it's very easy for us to activate another pattern, that is a pattern of hiding and avoiding. We look at ourselves and we see something about ourselves that we don't like, that we don't are comfortable with, that we don't desire in our life. So we try to hide or avoid that as much as possible. But if there is something that we need to improve, we need to see it, we need to feel it, we need to know what this is. Otherwise, how are we going to change it? Let's say how I will drive my car if I don't see my car, if I don't feel my car. It's impossible, right? I cannot drive the car to any destination. How we do that with ourselves in our life. Okay, let's say I have the feeling of jealousy. This is not a good feeling. So I'm gonna hide it and avoid it, repress it. That will not work. We need to understand how we understanding to look at it with a very clarity and strong awareness and presence. It's not a problem. You are not judging yourself in the sense that your patterns do not determine your value as human being. This is very important to know. Your patterns do not determine your value as a human being. As human being, your value is the same value as any other human being. The universe makes no distinction. It doesn't care about your clothes, your culture, your gender, your past, your future. All the human beings have the same value. But humans have patterns, without exception. All the humans, I have not seen one human that had no patterns at all. So we can admit that is just part of the process. It is how it is. And there is no human being that knows everything. Some people might be very good in sports, some might be very good in psychology, some very good in music, but they don't know everything. So there is always space and opportunities to grow and evolve in that process. And be able to have this self-respect and humility to look at ourselves and accept ourselves as we are, it's a very important aspect. And we need to bring this awareness to not hide ourselves from ourselves. Otherwise, it will be very, very, very difficult to transform a pattern as the pattern of self-centeredness. And the pattern of self-centeredness is a very powerful and special pattern in all the structure of the patterns. In this class, I will simplify the things just for the sake of create an introduction. So don't take it for all. It is an introduction, but to start to give some food to your thoughts and to help you to start to understand about more about this pattern. So, as the name says, the pattern of self-centeredness, it means that our self is our center. The center is not the universe, is not the others, is not anything else apart from ourselves. And this pattern is very present in all humans. Sometimes people can look at this pattern and confuse it with things like selfishness, which can happen when this pattern starts to get very strong, can involve into the process of being selfish, and in more extreme cases, even into narcissism or other problems, I don't know how you say, but some illusions of our mind can start to happen when these patterns start to be too extreme. But there are other ways how it manifests and does not look really as self-centeredness. As an example, someone that is manifesting good actions in order to feed the image of I am good, that person is manifesting the pattern of self-centeredness. Because it's true that he's doing selfless actions to help the others, but is also having him or herself in the center of I'm doing this because I'm good, or identify with this. I want the desire to do this, which is not the problem. It's better to have the desire of being good than being evil. But it's just to have very small nuances, how in the most subtle way, even in things that we think that the pattern might not be there, it can be. In fact, this pattern is at a very, according to my own understanding at this moment, what I can perceive and understand is that this pattern is at the very core of the foundation of all the patterns. And what I have perceived was that when we start to create our awareness, not our awareness, when our consciousness start to interact with the information of the world, start to create some references. So we start to create a reference of colors or sounds or smells, and start to associate those references with something. And in the process of creating all this reference system, at some moment our consciousness creates the notion of I as a person or as an individual. When this I was created, there was a very clear boundary that I, this individual, is separate or different from the others. So our life starts to happen as I relating with the world, with the universe, or everything. I and this person that gave birth to me, this relation makes that person my mother and is my mother. In other languages, we say this. We have a pronoun, a possessive pronoun, to say my mother, related to me. That person could only be my mother because of me, because I'm the center of the motherhood towards me. I don't know if this makes sense. But we start to relate to the things like that. Me, an isolate being, separate from the others, where the others relate with me, being me, the center of everything in my life. It's very simple. I'm oversimplifying it. But this foundation, this relation, start to grow over time into more complex situations. So in the beginning, there is this me being the center, like when we are babies. There is me, I cry, food come to me. I cry, someone change my diapers, or clean me, or take care of me, or, we start to create this relationship. But because at that stage, children are very curious and open, they have this reference, but it's not an identity by itself. Then when we start to grow, we start to create an identity, a self-identity. And could be when we start to perceive if we are a boy or a girl, or if we are from this country or from that country, or from this social group, or from this religion, or from this ideology. So we start to create all these identifications, the identification even with sport clubs or political parties. We create all these kind of identifications where we start to create this strong notion of me and self-identification. But the problem here is that the beginning of all of this goes wrong from the beginning. Because from the beginning, this me that we are perceiving, this me that we are identifying with, is what we call in Renshwe the false self. That can be very close to what is not exactly the same, but is what sometimes people call the ego. So, in a way or another, we have some level of egocentric personality. And that has also to do with the process of surviving. We need to take care of ourselves. We need to protect ourselves. We need to pursue our goals and our desires. It's just a natural evolution. The problem is that that identification of the self is wrong from the beginning. And we start to identify and try to protect and make the center of our lives a self that is not who we really are, but is also a self that is full of flaws, of ignorance that comes with our patterns. So if we have a self that has the pattern of greediness, as an example, we identify with that. And we can make greediness the center of our life too. Or it has the pattern of stubbornness, or the pattern of negativity, or the pattern of being right. And we start to create all these patterns that emerge from our false self as our own identity. And the desires of the patterns start to create the control of our life. Because that self is the center of our existence. And that can be so strong that only when we experience the sensations, feelings, thoughts that come from this false self, only when we experience those is only when we feel alive, we feel that we exist. Probably you have seen already, or maybe you have experienced that when people have this identity crisis, that they feel like they are not alive anymore. Why? Because this feeling of feeling alive comes from the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that manifest with the patterns of the ego or the false self on the heart level and on the conscious level. Then, because this false self, this self-centeredness in the false self becomes so strong, it will be impossible for us to let the true self comes out. Because we become one point focus in the false self. It's like we cannot exist apart from the false self. We become very, very, very centered in this false self or in this ego. We have the word egocentric that can be very close to self-centeredness. And once this happens, we have the tendency to become slaves of this. Slaves of our false self. And if we look to the false self, I have talked about this already before. The false self reflects ignorance. Like the false self, everyone wants to be happy in the world. I have no doubts about that. But for some people, the pattern of greediness, as an example, says that if they have more, they will be happy. So people say, okay, if I have more what? More money, more relationships, more fame, more this, more that, more than we need. Of course, we all need money, we all need relationships and all those things, but more than we need. So we try and we get experience some happiness, not happiness, but some joy of having some conquer, some victory of having more. But after a short time, that fades away. So we say, okay, if I get even more, I will have more happiness again. So we keep going this cycle of getting more and more and more and more. And if that will really work the first time we have more, that should be enough. We don't need to keep repeating it. If having more was enough for us to feel happy, once we have more than we need the first time, we should be in the state of happiness for the rest of our lives. Or the pattern of hiding and avoiding as an example. If I hide this or I avoid that, my life will be trouble-free. And then we don't deal with the problems, how they should be done. And of course, if they are not dealt how they should be done, so they will bring great harm. But because we are not aware of them, they will create harm without us knowing it, that they are doing it. Or the pattern of fixed expectations. We expect for experience trust or for experience happiness, we need the things to go how we expect to. And that will not work too. So we have this self-centered that fits all these patterns, truly believe in these patterns, that they are the way for us to experience happiness. And by doing that, we start to go really a lot against the laws of the universe. But we just not go against the laws, we separate ourselves from the rest. And we make ourselves the center of the universe. We start to be too focused on the I, me. It's me, I need to do this, I have this. It's all about ourselves. And because it's just about ourselves, we don't see the impact that creates around us or in the universe, because we separate ourselves from the universe. And we separate ourselves from everything around us. And I mean, when we separate, I mean having the true heart connection with the others. We can be around a lot of people and feel isolated. In fact, the big cities are a great example of that. Big cities, there are millions of people in a relatively small area for such a big number of people, and people don't know their neighbors. Or they might even know people, like the people with whom they work, or they have activities together. But it's difficult to create a deep connection, deep, meaningful connection. Everyone is absorbed in their own lives. I'm generalizing, of course. Not there are a lot of meaningful relationships in big cities, but it's just for the sake of an example. We can be surrounded by people and not being able to connect with them. And that has to do with a pattern of self-centeredness. It's like I am from this club, from this sport club, from this team. I'm a fan of this team. I'm not a player, but I'm a fan of this team. And I am surrounded by people of the other team. In this is just an example, of course. In this case, by me being self-centered, I will not allow, I say my team is the one that is right, the one that is good. I cannot connect with the others. And in teams in sports now there is the fair play and all these things that sports bring, that people say, okay, we are different teams, but we can be friends. But in politics that happen quite to an extreme, to the point that I have seen that families that they just stop to talk to each other because of politics. People, siblings and things like that they were really friends and they differ about politics at some time, and they stop to talk to each other, or even having conflict with each other. That is a work of the pattern of self-centeredness, this isolation of not being able to connect and receive outside of my own center. And by itself, this pattern goes to the most, goes against the most basic law. I can call you law, but maybe it's not the right word. That is the law of the ownness, or the law of totality in the universe. That everything is together, working as one. And the smallest part reflects the biggest part, and the biggest part reflects the smallest part. Everything is connected, and everything reflects totality. When we go to this pattern of self-centeredness, naturally we close ourselves to that and we separate ourselves from that. So this pattern of self-centeredness takes us to a journey of identifying, have a strong identification with a false self, and then live to go to trying to manifest or to get what our false self desires. But try to satisfy those desires beyond our needs. We try to satisfy those desires with the foundation of ignorance. And that causes harm in life. We deny, we separate ourselves from the universe and from totality. We become focused in our false self and in our ignorance. We deny our true self, we block our true self, and then we make ourselves the center of the universe. that the universe is existing to satisfy our story about who we are. And this can be quite tricky, because if we have normally people look at about self-centered like someone that is, I'm good, I'm beautiful, I'm the best, I'm the most splendid, a kind of bit of arrogant and narcissist, kind of. But if our pattern of self-centeredness is supporting the pattern of negativity, what can comes out could come things like, I'm the victim, I'm so sick, I'm so... I remember that this happened to me once. I had a lot of injuries in my body, really a lot. But once I got one very serious one in my knee, and was my first serious injury that made me to stop for more than 1 month. Before I had some injuries, but after 1 month I was recovered. But that stopped me for, I think, around 8-9 months. And at the peak of my negativity with that pattern, I had a very good lesson. I remember I was at the gym trying to do some exercises and recovering from that, and I was doing things that were very light, very light exercise, because the knee was so sensible. And I was looking around, and I was seeing other people doing exercise, and I was thinking, they are so lucky. They don't know what is pain or what is suffering. They can do all the exercises without problem. And one day I was there at the gym, and I was helping a girl there, and I started to talk with her, and she was, I think, around 28, something like that. And then I found out that girl that was feeling, I was very self-centered in my need and my pain and my story and my suffering. But I was talking to that girl, and that girl came out to tell me that she had cancer with 28 years old. And I was, wow. That took me out from my self-centeredness immediately. Suddenly I start to feel that I was very lucky with my self-centered plus negativity. I start to feel much better in the sense about myself, not so focused in myself. I felt bad for her. Then she was able to heal from that cancer. She was able to remain good. But then I start to notice that everyone in the gym that I was feeling kind of jealous about, and I was using them to be centered on my pity story, of my victimhood story, of my self-pity story. I found out that many people, they were carry a lot of burdens in their life. They were very heavy. So it's quite strange how this self-centered works, because it can be so manipulative and works really good with other patterns. And we don't know that is there. Sometimes we believe that we are not being self-centered at all, because we are doing things for others, but what we want is their approval. We want something back for our own beneficial. We desire love. We desire approval, and it's not wrong. That is just natural. Humans is a natural need to receive love. but trying to conquer that love in the way that can be according to our own agenda. We want people to love us in a certain way, with a certain manifestation, in the way that we desire, when we desire, and we do things to make them to do like that. Although it seems that we are doing things for the others, we are being self-centered. And this can happen in so many subtle ways. It's not wrong that we take care of ourselves. That is important. We need to take care of ourselves. But it's important that we do it in a way that we embrace totality and the others too, take them in account. Sometimes it's not possible, because sometimes other people also have strong patterns, and even if we embrace them, etc., they will not benefit from anything. You'll not be able to receive it. But we need to act with that principle. Take care of ourselves without bringing harm to others as much as possible. Sometimes it's not possible, but we have done it with that in mind, and we have done our best. So we have done our best, and we cannot ask more than that. And then with experience we can learn more, and we can find a new best to do the things. When the self-centeredness is manifesting, as I said, is self-centeredness, centering ourselves on our false self. So, most likely, self-centeredness is always associated with other patterns. We center ourselves in a certain desires or interpretations of some patterns. As an example, self-centeredness, more the pattern of overgeneralization. Let's say someone has a romantic relationship, and that the other person, a man or a woman, has done something that hurt. I will talk me because it's easier to make the example of the mechanics. So let's say that I'm in a romantic relationship with a girl, and that makes something that is hurting me, and I separate from that relationship, and I say, girls are all the same, I will never have another relationship. You see, this is self-centeredness, more overgeneralization. Because I had one experience related to me, and then I generalized to everyone, or in this case to all the women. And the opposite can go. We have here all this saying, men are all the same, women are all the same. They are not. There are billions of people, 7 billions I think right now, and they are all different. They are all different. Of course, there are some qualities or some things that just biological are similar between men and women. But that doesn't mean that they're all the same. In fact, there is no one human being that is the same as another. All the humans are different. But we can have this. We can have a bad experience with someone and then generalize to all of that. And we create a relation from ourselves with all that we generalize without them having any guilt about. It's like a man or a woman has harmed me. So I say all the men are the same, and I will behave with all the men or all the women the same way. I don't even give them a chance to show me that they are different, and I will try to find reasons to reaffirm the belief of my patterns, because my patterns are the centered, not the other humans. My patterns are the centered. If I have patterns of, let's say in the heart, if I have a pattern of anger, a pattern of fear, and that I become, somehow that becomes the part of the center of my personality, I will try to find reasons to reaffirm that feeling, because that feeling is what makes me to feel alive. It's part of my identity. Oh, there is my identity identifying or manifesting. Anything. And the most strange thing is all this self-centered, that we are centered. None of them is our true self. And of course, then the true self cannot manifest, because a pattern of self-centered does not put the true self as the center. And then there is another paradox, because the true self aims to be a selfless self. So if something is selfless, there is nothing to be centered on, which can be very complex for this pattern of self-centered. And another reason why the self-centered hides or denies the true self. It's very opposite to the true self. The true self embraces totality and embraces the laws of the universe. The true self aims to follow and go with the laws of the universe. The self-centeredness makes the universe work for its own laws, for its own desires. The self-centeredness separates, there is the me and the others, the me and the universe. And the universe needs to follow my own laws. I'm putting this into a very extreme perspective so that it makes it easy to understand. Of course, the things are not so linear like that. They are not so polarized. If they will be polarized in that way, it means that I will be using the self-centeredness view plus polarized thinking. But the things are not so polarized. They are always relative, and they change from person to person, from day to day, etc. But take it into account how opposite the pattern of self-centeredness, focusing in the false self, and the false self needs this focus to grow and to be strong, how opposite is to the true self. The pattern of self-centeredness want us really to fulfill the desires of the patterns. And I was forgetting a thing. This is the first class, so I need to mention it here. When I'm talking about patterns, are mainly the unhealthy patterns of life. Not all the patterns that we have are unhealthy. But in Ranchware, we want to transform these patterns that are relatively more unhealthy into something that is more healthy for our lives and that follows the laws of the universe. But there are patterns that are positive. It's not a black and white thing. Otherwise, we'll be overgeneralized patterns. And that is a pattern itself. So, as you see, sometimes the pattern of self-centeredness is everywhere. But the truth is not that it's everywhere. Sometimes someone that is inward, someone that is following a dream, a mission in life, something like that, can look like a person that is self-centered. And if they are really acting from the level of purity and honesty, is not a self-centered thing. These kind of actions are rare, but they are also there and can be confused. So it's also important for you to understand this if it comes from self-centeredness or not. Because we might want to help people not being self-centered, and we want to help people and being self-centered. It's very important to make this understanding. Normally, the lack of awareness, the lack of purity, it's a sign that self-centeredness is present. And what I mean by this, when someone does the things from a very pure place in their heart, without expecting anything back, and doesn't matter if they become self-absorbed or they are very into their world, that is not really self-centeredness. When we want something, when we negotiate with life when we put ourselves in the perspective to the others and to gain something or avoiding to lose something, when we create this way of acting, then self-centeredness might be present. And I say it might be present, doesn't mean that it's there, but most likely it is. When people have a dream and somehow in that process other people join to them to help them to fulfill that dream, and that person shows gratitude towards them and does not ask anything back, that person is not manifesting self-centeredness. But when a person has a dream and people join to help that person to realize that dream, but the person that has the dream sees them more, has tools to help them to reach that goal or that dream, that is being self-centered. When the person starts to put conditions, wanting something back from the ones that are just helping them, because that person allowed them to join them to the dream, that is being self-centered. Start to use them as a tool. And at the end, externally, these things, they might look very similar. Having the selfless state of acting and using wisdom, it's a good antidote for self-centeredness. Acting from a place of purity, almost like spontaneity, maybe kind of innocent spontaneity, with a heart present and true awareness present in that moment. That is when we act under those conditions, self-centeredness doesn't have much space to manifest. But when we are doing good deeds, that we start to use people as tools, and we have desires, desires like these ego desires, wanting things back, we want some acknowledgement back, or we want some, money, fame, power. That has a good, can be a good sign for self-centeredness manifesting. Or when we want approval, or when we generalize things, or when we are being negative, or when we hide and avoid. All those patterns, when all those patterns are manifesting, most likely self-centeredness is behind. So we can say that work on the manifestation, not on the manifestation, but working on the root of self-centeredness, as we understand it here, it's a very good way to work at the root of all the patterns. Because the self-centered is that pattern that gives the power to the patterns to manifest. Hiding and avoiding is the one that hides all the patterns. But self-centeredness is the one that gives the power for the patterns to be strong and to control our life. Then healthy patterns, of course. They are very close one to each other. Hiding and avoiding and self-centeredness working together. Whew, amazing. One is not even letting us see that we have patterns, and the other is giving power to the patterns. It's like the secret services working together. They have a lot of power, but they are secret. No one knows that they are doing there. And then we see things happening, and we don't know why they happen. So it's a complex pattern. And this is our first class. It's just an introduction, but it's very important to work on it in a very serious way. You know, when the children, they still don't have this strong false identity formed, and they cannot really focus on it. They have this joy of spontaneously doing the things without even thinking on the consequences. It's a very spontaneous way of acting, which can be interpreted into two ways. One, of course, is they can do mistakes in that spontaneity. But the most important lesson is they act from a very pure and authentic way, without many filters, and in a very innocent way, somehow. When they act because they are not aware of and they are not attached to some consequences, they act without without having expectations or attachments to those expectations. Not always, but many times, of course. And they do it, this spontaneity is not bringing their self-centered into the place, because it's a kind of curiosity exploring the world from a very open place and without attachment. And this is a good thing that we can learn from. Without yourself being the center of anything, explore the world in the most spontaneous and pure way, that level of purity. like a spontaneous letting the laws and the wisdom of the universe flowing through you to the world. Because it's not the universe working for us, it is us going with the universe. It is quite impressive in the sense that the universe has infinite love and wisdom and is beyond the most high, beyond the highest imagination that any human can have, how intense and big that love and wisdom are. And the universe creates the laws so that all the elements of the universe could receive that love and wisdom and be able to manifest their highest potential and growth and happiness and health and joy and love and wisdom and learning and realization. So basically, the universe is giving us, with the most intense way possible, everything that we really want. If I tell you, do you want to be really, really happy? Let's say the most perfect state of happiness, that nothing can disturb you out from that happiness. Do you want that happiness? Or do you want money? Or do you want fame? Or do you want, I don't know, whatever you pursue? It's not that the other things are wrong, but what we really want, we are doing things to get what we want, and what we want is already being given to us. The only thing that we need to do is to allow to receive it by following the laws of the universe. Because the universe is telling us how to do it by the laws. Yet, we turn the things around. We think that we know better, what is better for us, and we create our own laws, how things should be, and we want the universe to follow our laws. There are almost an infinite number of elements in the universe. Just humans are like 7 billions, and in this planet we know that humans are not the only beings. If we count all the species of living beings in this planet, it's all the beings that are alive in this planet, the number is huge. I cannot even imagine. And the universe is taking care with its laws of everything to grow in the harmonious and in a way that is beneficial. It's taking care of all the details with the laws. Even all the cells of our body and all those things. But still, we think that our laws are better. We still that we are the center. We still that the universe think that the universe should work for us. And we separate from all of that. and we deny to receive what we want because of that pattern of self-centeredness. The universe is already giving to us, but we refuse to do it because we know better. And we are the center of everything. At this center that we are talking is a false self-centered. It's not even the true self, it's not even our pure heart. It's our false self, our unhealthy patterns. And will we experience happiness with that? Will we experience freedom, or joy, or wisdom, or realization, or health? How is that possible? If the reality is that the universe is a totality and everything is connected, working as one, that is a reality. How can we have the illusion that we are separate from it? How can we have the illusion that we know better? Or how can we have the illusion that the things around us, they exist to serve us? Yeah, the universe creates a mother to serve me. To serve my needs, my desires, as a mother, so it has a duty and is mandatory to do all the duties. The same for partners or children or friends or family or whatever. And sometimes this pattern of self-centered can evolve to the point that we really become selfish. We don't have any kind of care about the needs of the others. We just think about our needs and desires. Because self-centeredness, as I said before, we can go to the process of people-pleasing, and that is a manifestation also of the pattern of self-centeredness. But we still care about the needs of the others, at least up to some degree. But when we start to enter the levels of being selfish, the needs of the others are not so important anymore. And then when this keeps evolving into pathological levels and it starts to enter the level of narcissism, that is horrible already. The level of value of another human life is based on how much I can take from them. It's not just about the needs of the others are not important. It's about how much I can take from them, from my own self-profit, image, or ego. And unfortunately in society, due to many conditions, has a tendency to reinforce this pattern a lot. Like the level of competitiveness that is in society pushes for us to isolate ourselves, to focus in ourselves to be better than the others. Being better than the others is not cooperating with the others, is not growing in mutual help, is by me being better than the others. And if I don't have the capacities to be better than the others, so I try to destroy the others so that the others are not stronger than me. This is so present in society. It starts early at school. Through the process of selection of a human according to their value, their capacity to perform. Of course, it's important to show our skills and to be able to fit ourselves in a world where our skills have value and contribute with our skills to the world, be able to be guided to do the right work for us in life. That is important. But behind that, there is not always, but in a lot of cases, there is this reinforcement of focus or be centered in yourself, to prove yourself to society that you are different and you are better. It is quite, I was quite lucky with that. At university, I was doing physical education, and my class, although you might think that sports people are competitive, they are in a healthy way. At least my colleagues, they were in a healthy way. But they were also helping each other a lot. There were a lot of cooperation, really, really a lot. It was quite, that was not seen in many classes. But in my class, I was lucky with that. I was just lucky that there were nice people there. Really nice people that they like to help each other, support each other. They will not compete. The strongest one in the class will help the second stronger to improve himself. They will not compete with each other for that. There was a healthy competition, of course, a playful competition in the way that people will challenge each other to grow and to go beyond their limits. But for the rest, people are just helping each other. But in society, it's not like that happens. It's almost everything can go. There is a good job and people compete for that job and they don't mind to destroy the others for them to get that place. Because my life is more important than the life of the others. We need to take care of ourselves. But as I said in the beginning, the value of human life is not their patterns. And every human has the same value. But for society, it's not like that. For society, the self-interest, it's a thing that is sometimes even motivated. Self-interest in the unhealthy way. So, of course, with all those situations and conditions, as we have talked in the previous hour in this class, the pattern of self-centered grows and gets stronger. Companies become a group self-centered. Countries do the same. In fact, because right now I'm following a lot of learning about technology for like cameras technology and all those things. And it's quite impressive that some companies don't allow other companies to use a certain technology that everyone will benefit if they will allow that. But they don't want to do it. In fact, there is a company that got the patent of a technology that was already there. They did not invent that technology, but that technology was available to everyone before, and no one thought that they needed to do a patent of that technology. But that company made a patent of that technology that existed already. And after they have done that, other companies could not use that anymore. In fact, they sued a lot of companies because they tried to create something similar. But the world is strange because this company that looked to be a strong one, and they were very aggressive with that technology to protect that technology just for themselves. I don't know what really happened, but that company was just bought by another. But if they will allow that technology to get out, everyone will benefit, even themselves, probably more than they have done. But because they were just so self-centered, they were keeping that for themselves, not allowing the world to benefit. And this is a thing that is important. It's true that we need to be careful when we share information, but if we have a tool that benefits the world and we want to keep that just for ourselves, to feel special, to feel better, to have some profit in something of our interest, that is self-centeredness. That goes against the laws of the universe. The universe brings benefit to everyone, and we receive the gift somehow from the universe, and we keep it just for ourselves. We don't share it. Of course, not everyone is ready to receive it, but if they are, why we don't share it? Why should we hide it just for ourselves? Okay, it's almost time, and I keep talking and talking. So this is just an introduction. Let's at the end of each class, normally we do an integration and healing. And the healings that I refer it goes through a physical and chi healing, but is mostly a healing that is related with the pattern and the theme of the class that we are working on, so that we do the integration and we use that information and chi field to transform our patterns. So let's do that now. If it is your first time too, you just need to follow my instructions. You don't need to do anything else. Okay, adjust yourself to a good position with your spine straight. Look straight forward and slowly bring your awareness inward. Close your eyes and relax. 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 Bring your awareness to your heart. And in your pure heart, connect with trust, openness, love, gratitude, and Gonjing. Feel your pure heart. Believe in your pure heart. And let your heart open up to connect with your true self. And let your true self to manifest in your heart. This connection is the foundation of your life. A foundation that needs to be present at every single moment. At every moment, the universe is giving you the most wonderful gifts. With a lot of wisdom, and infinite love. When you have the connection between your true self and your heart, you can open up and receive all these gifts. You'll see the wonderful gifts they are, and how wonderful you are. The gifts of wisdom, the gifts of pure, unconditional, and infinite love. And in the receiving, you learn how to give. Everything the universe gives you, go to you, go through you, and go to the others. In the state of totality and ownness. Where all the true, meaningful connections are made. When the true value of the human life can manifest. And even if you are isolated, you will know that you are not alone. Let the seed of the selfless self to grow in you. True awareness, true understanding, realization, and wisdom will manifest. Open your arms to the sides, palms facing forward, and embrace the totality of the universe and bring it back to your heart. Put your hands in your heart. The totality of the universe is in your heart, and your heart is in totality. Let this union between your heart, true self, and totality guide your life. Hands to the sides, and when you are ready, you can open your eyes. Thank you, everyone. It was a wonderful healing and heart connection. So, this first class is an invitation in this journey of working and transforming the pattern of self-centeredness. Although this was just an introduction, there is already a lot of information that you can start to look at and become aware of and work on it. Through all this process, we're going to go deeper and deeper. As you know, sometimes I will challenge you, but the challenge will be according to the level where we are working at. So on these courses on Tuesdays, we have the Zoom meetings where the participants of the course can meet and connect to each other. Normally I'll give a question or a theme to talk about, and they can have their moments of sharing and helping each other, supporting each other, and of course talking about the subject that, or the theme that I give. Those Zoom meetings are on Tuesdays, and I will send you the links for you to participate and the time that they will happen. And during these courses, we have one class that is a lecture, and the class after that is questions and answers. So if you have questions about the theme of life cultivation and self-centeredness in your practice and your growth, your challenges that you want to make, you can make those questions by sending me them by email, and you put on the title of the email question for the next class or something like that, but write questions so that they can find your question. And if you don't want to send them by email during the class when we are live, you can put the questions on the questions and answers chat, or you can put them on the chat for everyone, or you can send them also. I think there is an option that you can do privately the questions too. So anyway, you have a few options how to put your questions, and you are very welcome to do. So next class will be questions and answers, and we can do that. Normally I also give a homework for you to do, but yeah, this I will give you a very simple, it's not simple, but it's just the thing that you can look about. Meditate a little bit about what is the meaning of selfless self. This looks a paradox, but try to explore it. Okay, so I have here a question. It is possible to send the questions for the Zoom meetings a bit earlier on Monday evening, so we can think a bit longer of it. Yes, so I can try to do that. Normally, I also need my time to get the question, but I can get the theme for the question before, when it's possible. In the past, I was always sending them on Mondays evenings, but I will try to do before. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Wish you a very good week and a good journey in this pattern of self-centeredness. See you soon. Bye-bye.